Hi, I'm Melissa Cookston, and welcome to Fanning the Flames. Just like it sounds, we'll be talking about a lot of things that may not be popular opinion. We'll be cooking some. You know, there's no telling what we might do. But today we have a guest with us who will be a regular on this show, John Lindsey. Welcome to the show, John.
Well, I'm glad to be here with you. This is going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. You know, I think that anybody that loves cooking in general can sit around and talk about it.
Oh, I think so. I think we could find something to talk about when we have been talking about it before the show started. And there's always something. There's always something new, something old. And I love talking cooking.
Yeah, me too. You know, it used to be just barbecue.
Yeah.
That was really all I wanted to talk about. But in recent years, as I've been traveling internationally, I've kind of broadened my want to about what kind of cooking we're doing.
Well, you know, things change. When we were all chasing barbecue trophies and going across the country cooking barbecue and steak competitions, that's all I could think about. You know, all I was trying to do is get better every week. But, you know, I grew up with my grandma putting me in a chair beside the stove when I was about 4 years old, watching her cook. And I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. That's the kind of cooking I like to do. I love to cook at home and teach others.
I will tell you that I guess being in the restaurant business 44 years, I kind of got to a point where I got tired of cooking.
Oh, yeah.
You can only do it for so long. And I can remember my grandmother saying, if I never have to cook another meal, I will be a happy woman.
Right.
I think sometimes when you do it so much, you can get burnt out on it.
You can get burnt out. Sometimes you need a little relief, you know. But I can have a rough day, you know, when you're food business like we are. Some of these days are long. Some of them are hard. But I can come in and do nothing but as simple as just cook an egg, just fry a piece of bologna in the iron skillet, whatever. And just that little time in front of the stove makes the day better for me. It's a way to calm my nerves, and I enjoy that. I really do.
Well, I kind of have realized some joy this holiday season. You know, we have, I don't know how many hams and turkeys we have shipped out, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And it makes me happy to give other people that break from having to cook.
Right.
You know, they can visit with their family and friends and enjoy the holiday instead of having to worry about outside with the smoker or heating the house up with the oven. Or so that's really brought me joy, is cooking for everybody else this holiday season.
I think when I'm thinking about cooking, and I know you're the same way, but you just hit it right on the money. What I love to do is cook for somebody else. Not necessarily for them to say, man, that was the best I ever had. But if I can just cook for somebody, I think that's a humble way to give back to somebody else, is to be able to cook a meal for them. And especially these holiday seasons that we're in right now, you know, we're cooking hams and turkeys and all the green bean casseroles and candied yams, all the stuff that you do. Those are traditions, and it's a sentimental time that you can take someone back to a certain place in time and create an experience for them.
And I know, bring back memories.
Yeah, remake memories, and you guys are doing that. That's awesome.
Well, so I believe in the gift of food.
Yes, me too.
So today, the reason I'm in cold weather gear is because I've been smoking cheese. And my daughter Lauren and I are going to put together some little gift boxes and trays of smoked cheese. You know, you add something special to it when you cook it yourself.
You do.
But so I've got a little show and tell here. I thought I'd show you. So these are all cheeses that I smoked. There's pepper jack, cheddar, Parmesan, Havarti, Gouda. Now I will say that, you know, I should have only left this about 2 to 3 hours, and I got busy.
Sure.
But I thought I'd give you a little taste of it.
I love smoked cheese.
I love cheese. Now that's pretty smoky.
It is smoky.
But it's good. So what I'm putting with that is honey. This is a wildflower honey. Some confit. I think that's fig and walnut confit. I'm going to put a mustard with it, some crackers, you know, and some candy type stuff. But, you know, that's something you could put out as an appetizer on Christmas Eve or day or whatever, or just, have it all yourself. I mean,
Yeah, and Christmas Eve was always a time where we did finger foods. The big thing about Christmas Eve was we were opening gifts and we were doing things with gifts and family, and you had your traditions watching Rudolph or whatever, Frosty the Snowman, whatever. You were sitting around the tree. So you didn't want to tie up a big meal because you had it the next day. This is perfect for that. This is perfect. We always had a cold cut tray. This would go well along with that. But I'm going to tell you about that cheese. I could eat that whole block. It's wonderful. I love it.
the thing I like about these cheeses, especially, I used a mild cheddar, is they soak the smoke up really well, and these are wet cheeses. But you know, you get that smokiness, but it's very light still. You
Right.
know, it's. I think it's just a wonderful way for anybody to gift food. You know, do something special and then mix in some other things. I'll, of course, wrap this up and put a bow on it so it'll be cute.
And you're going to have these for sale here at the Barbecue All Stars.
Probably. These are gifts for my daughter.
Yeah, I got you.
That she specifically wanted to give out. But yeah, I mean, we do charcuterie boards and ship those and cheese boards and things like that all year round. So.
When you're smoking cheese, tell me, what kind of smoke you putting on this?
You know, here's the thing. I remember growing up and my great-grandmother and her family, you know, they kind of all lived very close.
Right.
We're a very close-knit family. You know, it was hard times. I mean, they grew up during the end of the 1800s. So went through the Depression. They still slaughtered hogs and had a smokehouse.
Yes.
And we did that, you know, when it was really cold. And the smokehouse, they would build a little hickory fire back in the corner. And so it really wasn't providing any heat because you don't want to heat the products. You just want to get the smokiness.
Yes.
Same thing with cheese. So, you know, I have a vertical cabinet smoker.
Right.
I put the cheese in there, and then I just use a little smoke box with some really, really small wood chips.
Right.
And I used pecan wood chips on these because I wanted a mellow smoke. I didn't want it to overpower, you know, some of the cheeses because Parmesan. Now I love some Parmesan. I need to be able to taste the Parmesan.
Sure.
But you know, cheese will start sweating at about 55 degrees. So you got to really be sure. This morning was perfect for it. It was so cold outside. Anybody that knows me knows I get up really early.
Oh, yeah.
So, so yeah, I decided today was the day. I'm running out of Christmas time, but you know, instead of spending a lot of time going out shopping, I'm spending some time cooking for people.
And, you know, with your cheese, every time I want smoked cheese, it's 103 degrees in the summer. But like you said, this is a perfect time for this. And I've seen even people take the little tubes, the pellet tubes, and slow smoke them on a pellet grill with the pellets. And I've done that before too.
Yeah.
I think the real wood, the flavor here, when I tasted that one, that really, and I know you said you thought you might have put a little extra smoke, but now I love that, especially on this cheese.
Yeah, and can I just put some honey on it, drizzle some honey on it? Oh, I'm with you. I could eat that for days.
I can eat it. Yep.
All right, so I want to talk about some upcoming cooking classes we have, and John and I want to discuss one in particular. January the 10th is the brisket and yardbird cooking class. January 17th, cast iron cooking class.
Cast iron cooking. Yep.
Saturday, my baby girl is going to be teaching an Italian cooking class, and I might try to help her with that. You know, she and I went to the Italian Culinary Institute in Calabria.
Right.
She's better at it than I am, probably because she speaks Italian and I don't. I just looked the Italian part.
I saw the pictures, and all the food looked wonderful.
Well, I can tell you that I became professional at drinking the wine.
There you go.
Yeah. And on February the 7th is the ribs and pork cooking class. And those are all at the Barbecue All Stars in South Haven. You can go to thebarbecueallstars.com and sign up for any of those cooking classes or gift them.
Gift, yeah.
Gift them.
this time of year, that goes a long way for the cookers and the people that love cooking in your family.
Yeah.
It would go awesome.
I want to talk about cast iron cooking.
Okay.
I know just from talking before the show, you and I both grew up on cast iron cooking.
We did. Cast iron cooking, and as I was telling you, my grandma had one iron skillet, and that was a multi-purpose skillet, and I think it was probably a number 10. You know, the most popular number is a number 8, but that number 10 could do everything for a small family.
Yeah.
And she did everything in that, from fry potatoes, make cornbread, biscuits, anything you can think of. She didn't have any nonstick cookware. That was the original nonstick cookware. Hers was nonstick.
Well, yeah, that's because they knew how to season them properly, I
They
think.
were, yes.
But, you know, there is nothing better than we were talking about than cast iron fried chicken. Mm-hmm. It doesn't taste like any other kind of fried chicken.
Oh, no.
You know, you really get the crunchiness, the flavor of the cast iron. You know, typically, I like using a number 12 because I feel like I can get more grease in
Yeah,
there. And being a Mississippi girl, we like grease.
Yes. And you can spread it out a little bit. I
Yeah.
don't like to bunch it up. I like for it to be able to be spread out to
Yeah.
get a little better crust. I think it does.
Now, just so you know what we're talking about when we say a number 8, a number 10, a number 12, it's 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. Cornbread, I cook at a number 10 because I always like to save the cornbread for later. I love making cornbread dressing.
Me too.
Crawfish stuffing, and all that starts with cornbread.
Right.
And you know, I tell people all the time, they're like, "What is the secret to cornbread dressing?" And I'm like, "You got to know how to make good cornbread."
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah. Now I will say, I have my great grandmother's cast iron skillet. I cook my cornbread in that, but I don't use it for anything else. I don't know why. I think that's just the way I was taught by that older generation. This is the cornbread skillet.
Yep.
And it stayed with a dish towel on top of it on the stove, and you know, that's what they cook the cornbread in.
Yeah, and you know, there's a secret to good cornbread. Now, we down here in the South, and I don't know about you, we're both from the deep South here, so we didn't have sweet cornbread. Our cornbread didn't. You might have had, but I'll be honest with you, my grandma didn't even put a pinch of sugar in hers.
No,
There was no sugar in it, and that's still the way we do it now. But the good, and I think you know this for sure. We've not talked about it, but you know, get some good oil in that skillet. Make sure you have a good seasoned cast iron skillet. Get you some good oil in there and preheat that thing for 15, 20 minutes before you ever put your batter in. And when that batter goes on and that sizzle hits and you see that grease rise up above that cornbread batter, you know you're going to have something good. That just makes the crust.
What temperature do you cook your cornbread at?
I'm about 400.
See, I'm even hotter than that. If I'm in a hurry, 475, but my standard is 450.
That sounds about right. Yes.
But I'll tell you, it is a simple recipe. It's self-rising cornmeal, self-rising flour, and I know all you chefs out there are going to hate me for that, but that's the way I learned how to do it.
Yeah.
Then you add buttermilk and 1 egg.
Yep.
Now, you stir that up, and it's going to be too thick. So guess what you do? You flip the sink on the hot water, and you add just a little bit of hot water to that mixture. That gives you that light, fluffy cornbread that doesn't crumble apart, for me.
Yeah. And that's the key on this cornbread. It's got to be moist enough to stay together, but to make it fluffy, you can't over. So I think that little bit of water that goes in there makes the difference. And your recipe is almost identical to what we do. Now, I have made it with just the regular cornmeal, and then you add the baking powder and But I'm going to be honest with you, that recipe is simple. It's like my biscuit recipe. It's simple, it's easy, but if you do it right, it works almost every time. You can replicate it really simple, really easy.
Very easily. And, you know, I find a lot of people who don't cook a lot, they don't use their baking powder or baking soda even.
No.
A lot. So, you know, it just became easier for me when I was not cooking at home cornbread that often to use the self-rising ones because I wasn't always, my powder and soda wasn't as potent as it was when it was fresh in
Sure. Yeah, it kind of dwindles down a little bit.
Loses its fizz, is
Loses
what I
its
say.
fizz. But you know, we're living in a day now, Melissa. It's of convenience.
Right.
Now, it's hard enough for folks to work the jobs that they work now and come in and cook. So you've got to find a way to do that. And if instead of just getting one sack of cornmeal mix out's easier than pulling all the other ingredients out, then so be it. It still works, and it's still a wonderful cornbread. And I try to find shortcuts all the time.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I can't tell you how many different cornmeals and flours we have at our house now. Just because, you know, if we're cooking pinto beans and turnip greens or black-eyed peas, I'm going to make that cornbread that I gave you the recipe for. Because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, and we raised a lot of what we ate. And, you know, we had cornbread every meal. And I can remember lunch was the big meal back then. And my grandfather would, for dinner, eat cornbread and buttermilk.
I was getting ready to say, if you said if you have it left over, you're going to do a few things with it. Well, I'm going to get me a big old cold glass of buttermilk, crumble up that cornbread in there. Right before bedtime, there's nothing better. Watch a movie or watch a show. I'll be asleep before you know what's going on.
And that, folks, is how you know we are truly Southern.
We're from the South. Well, that and this voice, you can tell both of us. It's part of it. But
Yeah.
But you were talking fried chicken. Let's talk about that just a minute, because that piques my interest when we talk about that. And we were talking about it before the show came on, and I told Melissa, I said, you know, cooking in a cast iron skillet's not like gas station fried chicken. We can get, now I'm not knocking gas station fried chicken. I think it's great, and I love deep fried chicken. But there's just something to be said that takes you back when you see that fried chicken, and I can tell immediately if it's pan fried, if it's deep fried, because what I love about it, and I've saw my grandma just cooking it on Sunday. She would cook on Sunday in that iron skillet. All the family would come, you know, and everybody would get their own piece of chicken. And sometimes she'd have to cook two. But when you flip that over after you've put that chicken leg down there or your piece of chicken, and then you flip that over after about 10 minutes and you start turning it on the other side, you got that little brown crusty part. You don't get that in a deep fry. And the flavor and the texture is just so different on the pan fried chicken, cast iron chicken. And I love it. It takes me back.
I'll tell you something that takes me back. My grandparents always had animals, for the most part, farm animals. They had a dog or two, and there was always a skinny cat hanging around. But my grandmother loved chickens. She just loved chickens, and she had all different kinds of chickens. Not the frizzy-headed ones not silkies or whatever now.
Sure.
But you know, she would have bantams, and she would have, I don't know, just a different variety of chickens. But they would lay eggs, and you know, we would eat. I wouldn't eat the eggs, but they would eat the eggs. I don't eat eggs.
I understand.
Now, if you add mayonnaise, relish, and salt and pepper to it, I can eat a dozen.
You can do it, yeah.
But otherwise, I'm not eating eggs. So she needed to, in the spring and summer, you know, would kind of replenish her chicken stock.
Right.
And so she let the hens set on their eggs and, you know, had some babies. Well, 99% of the eggs that hatched were roosters. Now, you're from the South, you know, you can't have a bunch of roosters in the hen house.
That's right.
That don't work.
It don't work.
It don't work. So when they got about, I'm going to say 3/4 grown, my grandfather and I killed them roosters. And we plucked them and put them in the freezer. Well, that didn't last long because my grandma kept dragging out the packages and frying it up. First couple of meals, there was nothing better.
Yep.
There was nothing better. You know, the third or fourth meal in a 10-day span, you're,
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of fried chicken. But I'll never forget doing, I think it was my first cookbook. We did a fried chicken recipe in there. And the photographer, Angie Mosier, was so good that you just wanted to take your finger and flake off that little piece of crust that
Yeah.
you're talking about off that piece of chicken. That's how good of a photographer she was.
Oh yeah.
But we cooked it in cast iron. You can't, you can't get that
You
from cooking it any other way.
you can, and I love deep fried chicken. Don't get me wrong, but I love to soak my. There's a couple things. First thing I want to ask you this: when you cut your chicken up, how many pieces you cutting them into now?
Well, it depends, because I will tell you this: I do like a keel. Mm-hmm. Kentucky Fried Chicken back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, you didn't get a breast. There were two different pieces to their breast.
And it was awesome, by the way.
Right. And I just wanted that keel. That's all I wanted.
Loved it. My favorite piece.
So, it's one of those things that I think it depends on what your preference is to cutting chicken, but I'm going to get as many pieces out of it as I can.
Well, what I was getting at is, my grandma used to cut it up, and now basically we're looking at 8 pieces. My grandma, when she cut it up, and we're talking a lot about grandmas today, she'd cut it into a 10 piece. Because
I
she
get
had
10.
the back. She always fried the back and cut it in half. And I wound up with the back all the time. And I don't know how I got that, but there's not very much meat on it, but it's good. But now when I cut that up, I save that back just for stock.
Right.
It just does a good job on stock. And I used to think, my gosh, making stock is so hard. You can buy it in a grocery store. No, you can't. You really can't buy that stock in a grocery store. I love making my own stock, and so I use that back for that. But I have fried it up, but yeah, Granny cut hers into 10, and that's the way she did it.
I want to talk about chicken stock.
Okay.
My daughter Lauren made some chicken stock last week. Mm-hmm. We have our oldest dog. Now, I will tell you, I have a rescue problem, so I have a lot of dogs.
Oh, yeah.
But my oldest dog is about this tall, and I bet she's 6 pounds. Mm-hmm. Well, she's on medications twice a day, and she's tired of it.
Right.
She's tired of the medications. The only way we can get her to take her medication now is by getting a little bit of that stock out of the jar, the part that's on top that congeals.
Yes.
And put that on her medicine, and she will take it. She loves it, and it's good for her. I mean, it makes her coat shinier. She's in better health for it. But that's the only way we can get her to take her medication. That's how good it is.
Right. And we're talking dressing. We call it chicken and dressing. We don't do stuff. There's stuffing and then there's dressing.
Well, stuffing's kind of Yankee.
It's kind of Yankee, and that's okay. I love Yankees. Yankees are great, but here in the South we talk about dressing, and I think if you're making dressing during these holidays, and I'm going to make it again for Christmas. I make it for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we do chicken and dressing, and it all starts with that good cornbread we've talked about. I like that good crust, cast iron crust, and then a good chicken and a good chicken stock.
Right.
But I found a hack for it.
What
you
is
may
that?
shoot me over this one.
You
may get with me. But I found out that if I'm running low on time and I don't want to smoke my chicken, I just go and get a rotisserie chicken. And here's a little secret hack, and I think this works, and I think it makes the stock better. I always wanted to make a clear stock. There's something, especially in French cooking, you're looking for a clear stock. But when I do it, it's the old southern stock. I take all that skin, and once I take all the meat off that rotisserie chicken that you find in one of the club stores, wherever, I'll take all of it off. I'll take the whole entire carcass, put it in a stock pot, but I strip all that skin off and put it in there, and then I'll start to brown it. Just a little butter, maybe a little bit of oil in there, and I'll let it sear on the bottom of one of those pots, and then I'll scrape it off.
Oh, absolutely.
Add a little bit of water or a little bit of the over-the-counter chicken stock, and just keep scraping. I may build that crust up, scrape it off. Every time you build it up and scrape it off, build it up, deglaze it, you are building flavors. So I might do that for 15 minutes. And then once I start putting it together, I'll build that stock right out of that carcass. But the seasoning that is on those chickens goes into your stock, and it gives you a little bit of, and that's my hack. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, but I kind of like it.
I think it's a great thing. I'll tell you that, we make chicken salad a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just buy a rotisserie chicken to make the chicken salad with. Unless, we're doing something special and want an actual smoked chicken.
Right.
But, just for having some food in the fridge, we just buy those. I will tell you that if you're at Costco, you don't want to be there when their rotisserie chickens get ready.
Mm-hmm.
The noise of the red light and it's deafening.
Right.
But so many people go there just to get those chickens.
Just to get those chickens.
But I think it's important when you're talking about stocks. I don't think people understand how easy. And a lot of how you make stock is with scraps.
Mm-hmm.
Pete was making a veggie stock the other day.
Right.
And we have learned in just the last couple of years to really appreciate leeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what he was doing, and I just walked by and glanced down in that pot, and I just saw these furry tentacles come out, and I'm like, oh my God, what are we eating? Well, it was just the roots off the leek, but
Sure.
I couldn't see anything else because it was at a rolling boil. But a lot of what you make stocks with is really just scraps. And, the flavor that you can impart is much more to something you will love, number one. Because, if you go buy a can of chicken stock, it doesn't have that much flavor.
No, it doesn't.
But if you're adding the seasonings that you want,
You can make it good.
you can make it have so much flavor. And I'm going to tell you something, and I have really become adamant about this in the last few years. Season my damn food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Season my food. I like seasoning. Don't be afraid of it. Be liberal with it. I'm not that old. I'm not that old that I need bland food.
And you can season food without getting it overly salty. I'm talking about put seasoning to it. And that's like your grilling shake, the Melissa Cookston's grilling shake. And of course, I've been here with you guys for about 4 years now as an ambassador, and we've crossed a lot of bridges together. And I've loved every minute of it. I'm going to tell you, it's been a highlight for me. But I'm going to tell you, you've got some great, great, great products. But that grilling shake can be used any which way that you want to use it. It's got that good earthy flavor. I use that in my stock. It goes great with chicken. Anything you want to put, and I'm not doing a commercial, but I'm being honest. That's one of my go-to flavors. And season your food. It don't have to be seasoning. Doesn't mean. And I have people ask me sometimes when I'm making gumbo or something, I don't like a lot of seasoning to it. Well, I want it seasoned. It don't have to be so hot it burns your mouth.
No.
Spicy seasoning is two different things. Salty and seasoning is two different things. Season my food. I want to taste a good seasoned piece of meat or whatever I'm eating.
I will tell you that it's funny you bring that up because I feel like the secret to my fried chicken is I put the grilling shake in the flour, and
Yes.
that's how I season my flour to fry chicken. So it's an all-purpose. It's got everything you need. But I will tell you, when you talk about seasoning, don't forget your herbs. Don't forget your herbs. We have been cooking with herbs. Well, number one, if anybody needs any mint, I was one of those dumb people that planted it in my landscaping, okay? Gonna throw that out there. Anybody needs any mint,
So
I'm
you
your
got
girl.
plenty. Yeah.
Mint takes over the world.
Okay.
But we have rosemary, we have thyme. We have a lot of different, some did better than others, but we are really cooking a lot with herbs, with fresh herbs.
Makes a big difference. And, I bought and I don't remember the name of the cookbook, but years ago, I got a cookbook as a Christmas gift, and it had how to make your own rubs in it and different things. And one of the things I was trying to make a prime rib, and one of the things they added to it was rosemary. And I thought, I didn't know what rosemary was back then. Granny didn't cook with it, so I didn't know a whole lot about what it was, But let me say this. I went and got some rosemary. I started cooking. This has been a long time ago now. But I'm going to tell you, that's probably one of the best herbs you can use with beef. I love crusting a prime rib with some of that. You can take the grilling shake. You can put some of our stuff together. and you can crust that prime rib, keep it a little chunky, and it does a great job on the outside. Rosemary and thyme, I think, are two herbs that probably don't get used enough, and they can really make a difference.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think basil is obviously the #1 used herb in the
Basil's
country.
awesome.
But I love it. I'm just going to tell you, I love it. You know, pesto is one of my favorite things. Basil to me lightens and brightens any dish, any dish. But I will tell you that here's a funny. It's still going back some. We'll call this the visiting the past episode.
Okay.
My great-grandmother did have a sage bush at her house. So I grew up eating things with sage.
Yeah.
And my people say that I put too much sage in my cornbread dressing.
They would me too. But I like it. My
Yeah.
mom did it. My grandma did it.
Well, my husband's mom obviously didn't do it.
Yeah.
So they make fun of me. So I backed off on the sage a little bit in the dressing. But I will tell you, that's a thing. When I taste that sage, that it brings back memories for me, and it makes me happy.
So I was down in Alabama shooting a show. It was either a show or I was doing a cooking commercial for a charcoal company. And I was making dressing. And so I had all my ingredients, you know, as you do before you go in pre-packed, and I had made a mistake on sage. I think it called for, I don't know what, but anyway, it wound up like triple the amount that I had. And I was cooking and dumping this in. I was talking to the camera and doing all this stuff. And by the time I dumped the sage in, you know, I use poultry seasoning and sage when I'm doing my dressing. That's just what I like. But I dumped it in, and my dressing, I could see it, and I knew it. But when the video come out, it was green. It was green.
I was just about to ask you if it looked like the Grinch.
It did. But here's the deal. I cooked it. I knew it was wrong. But I wasn't going to tell anybody. And
Well, how good was it?
It was good. There wasn't anything left. But now those folks where I was cooking probably didn't get that kind of cooking. But I'm going to tell you, it really turned out good. I can take the extra sage. Some people, apparently Pete, some people are a little more sensitive to the palate on the sage.
It's like cilantro.
Yeah.
They say you have a gene that you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't hate sage. They just and they don't fuss. They make fun of me. They pick at me.
Right.
As we say in the South, they pick at me because I like sage.
Yeah. I've got a mother-in-law that made dressing, and it's always green. I mean green with sage, but it's good, and I can eat it. I want to brag. We've talked about Pete a couple things. We were talking about chicken and all this stuff. You know, we did a chicken class over here together not long ago. And me and Pete done the class. You were here, but you were not feeling well. There was something going on. And
Maybe I just didn't want to.
But you may not have. Around here, it's like when Melissa says jump, I say how high. We figure out. So whatever you need me to do, I always do it. And Pete does too, by the way. But what we did, Pete actually cooked a rotisserie chicken on a little unit that you guys sell here. And I'd seen one around, but it's called a Roto Q, Roto Q 360. And he actually trussed that chicken, tied it up, but he stuffed it with fresh herbs. We injected it with a combination butter, My Bayou Bandit. We had grilling shake on it. We had all kinds of stuff, and put it on a Kamado grill out here. And we were teaching a class with it. And Melissa, when I tell you, and I've eaten a lot of chicken, so as my old preacher used to say, you looking right here, that's just nothing but a big old chicken graveyard. Well, let me tell you, I love chicken. That is probably one of the best and most juicy chickens, and I've bragged on that everywhere I go, so I have to give Pete props on using those herbs. That was one of the best chickens I've had. It's memorable to me. It was so good, juicy, just right, but the herbs made the difference.
Well, you know, that's probably why I married Pete, because he likes to cook for me.
That's good.
And he's a really, really good cook.
He's an outstanding cook. Yeah.
I'm lucky in that I have 2 people in my house that really like to cook, so I don't have to do it that much.
Right.
Which means that it might not work out. We can
Sure.
always order pizza, but I've done enough over all these years that fortunately it usually works out. It might not be as good as if I tweak it, but so one thing that I've been playing with lately is soups.
Yeah.
So we have made these soup mixes.
I saw those. They look wonderful.
Well, I mean, if you turn around and look, I mean, you can see the actual ingredients in there.
That's right.
My husband has a new toy, a dehydrator. And, we have an FDA kitchen,
Sure.
so we can do all this crazy stuff. But he has a dehydrator, and he loves playing with his dehydrator. So we are making these soup mixes. Literally all you have to go do is take it home, add water, and cook.
And cook.
And it doesn't even take long to cook it because of the dehydration process. Another thing, because everybody kept asking me, why don't you have your cornbread mix
Yeah.
from
there it
Memphis
is.
Barbecue? We talked about cornbread earlier.
We did.
Now, when we decided to make the cornbread at Memphis Barbecue, I wanted it to be really special. And I think that, a little sweet cornbread goes a long way with some good barbecue.
With barbecue. Yeah.
So this one is the sweet cornbread mix, not what we were talking about earlier, but again, so easy to make. You don't have to mix everything together. Everything you need is just right here in this handy dandy little bottle. So my newest, happiest things. This is a Tuscan dipping oil. You know when you go to
Love
those
it.
really fancy, good Italian restaurants,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
bring you some good olive oil, not that cheap stuff, but some good olive oil, and they have all those seasonings and herbs, dried herbs in the bottom of it, and you take that bread and you dredge it through those oil and seasonings. That's a happy time for
It
me.
is. Love it. Absolutely love it.
I could not order anything else and just sit there and eat the bread and the oil with the seasonings and herbs.
I normally get an order of garlic knots or something like that in that dipping oil, and I'm full before the meal gets out, to be quite honest with
Yeah.
you. But I love it. I could eat the whole bowl.
It's so good. My daughter makes fresh bread. She does the whole sourdough thing. She also makes cinnamon rolls. I have to kind of stay away from her sourdough because it is so good.
Right.
But she makes this focaccia, and we take this, mix it in a little bit of olive oil, and I literally could eat that for days and never stop. I mean, I could keep her busy just baking bread.
Nothing better than fresh bread. Nothing better than fresh bread.
But I will tell you, grocery stores now have done a better job
They have.
with breads, and so, even if Lauren's not home, she's out of town, I'll go get one of those loaves from the grocery store and put it in the oven in some foil
Yeah.
and heat it up. Not as good as hers, but it'll do in a pinch.
It'll do in a pinch.
It'll do in a pinch. But these others are dips and cheese ball mixes.
Okay.
We have the spinach and parm, the spicy crawfish. Guess what that has in it, John?
Boy, it looks good.
Well,
Looks
it has
good.
Bayou Bandit, which is your product.
It's got
in it.
Bayou Bandit in it. Oh my gosh. I love crawfish dip.
Yeah.
And that looks good right in the bottle. I'm looking forward to trying that.
Yeah, I like to make that one hot. There's directions on there. You can either make a cold dip, a hot dip, or a cheese ball, which is
Okay.
just cream cheese. But it's everything you need in there. Lauren makes cheese balls for Christmas gifts too, and
Yeah.
she makes fantastic cheese balls. That's typically what she'll put on our table if, we have family coming over
Sure.
or all year long. But one thing that I really want to talk about is, yes, these are pre-made for you. All you have to do is add the products that it says, whether it's mayonnaise, sour cream, or cream cheese, for whatever you're looking for. But Lauren has been doing something really unique with cheese balls. And that is she's been rolling them in different things. So we got raw shelled pistachios. That's big in Italy.
That's a big thing right now.
Yeah. So, if you want to make it festive looking, you can use some rosemary and pomegranate seeds and roll your cheese ball in that.
Right.
Bacon's always a hit at my house.
Yeah, never goes out of style.
No,
Always
no.
bacon.
And I find that if I eat a little something like that, that I'm not going back for seconds.
Yeah.
For lunch or dinner.
You're kind of filling up ahead. But we were talking about Christmas Eve, and Christmas Eve is always a special time. This kind of thing is perfect for Christmas Eve. Your cheese balls, even your soups a little bit on the side with some of your other stuff. This is perfect for that.
Yeah.
This is perfect. I love the packaging on these. Have you ever been somewhere and saw those little bitty packages of something that looks like this, and it's about half this much and it's about twice the price, and you see them at a lot of the shows and things.
Yeah.
But this is very uniquely packaged. This would make a great Christmas gift to somebody, stocking stuffer.
I agree. Or you can put together a little basket.
Yeah.
Somebody that really likes soups.
Yes.
Get all the different soups. I will tell you, we're sold out of chili, which I'm going back this afternoon to make some more.
Right.
Chili and gumbo, which this is the gumbo, are flying off the shelves, which makes me happy because it makes me feel good that people like it.
Everybody loves a good chili this time of year.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a good chili.
Yep. You can tell all the beans, all the seasonings in there. Looks great.
Yeah,
Can't wait
everything you
to
need.
try it.
Everything you need's in there. So this is red beans and rice, which Pete can make a heck of a red
He
beans
sure
and rice.
can.
I think he's the red beans and rice. I don't know, that and chicken.
We did that in a class together, and there wasn't any red beans and rice left. I mean, you've got a tasso ham here too.
Yeah.
And he used that in the red beans and rice, and the texture was perfect. And I just wondered if that's going to be similar to what Pete made. If it is, it's going to be good stuff.
Yes, because actually Pete put the recipe together for
There
this
you
one.
go.
They say put your aces in places. I learned a long time ago how to put my aces in places.
In places, that's right.
Yeah. So between Pete and Lauren, I've got a lot of help. But I'll tell you something interesting that I'm doing too. Since you mentioned the packaging, I have pop tops that go on the top of this, like a Coke can.
Right.
So we're doing some catering for Christmas, and we're doing pretty little drinks, non-alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
So you come up and, you'll have, I don't know, ginger ale or whatever, but it'll have pomegranate and rosemary in there that looks like a Christmas tree.
Oh.
We're doing some lemonades. We're doing all kinds of festive things. So this packaging really, you can use it a lot of different ways. You have to have the machine in order to seal it, whether to put the pop top on it or the just this pullback top. But
Sure.
it's a lot of fun. R&D's a lot of fun.
It really is. When I'm trying to put a new rub together, and that's one of my favorite times because I'm trying it out in different ways. I'm adding this and that. I think it works your brain a little bit and you get out of your groove. I love doing research. I love doing development and trying new things, and I think most people do. I think most people are looking for that. Would be a good way for them to start on their own. Do a little R&D with this stuff. I mean, use it in a lot of different ways and see what new ways you can come up with to use it. You got it all right there. That's pretty neat.
Well, speaking of R&D, we've had this conversation for a long time now.
Uh-huh.
This new product, well, it's not new, but it's coming back. The garlic butter by John Lindsey. Everybody's asking. Everybody's asking. So I know the answer, but I'm going to let you tell it.
Okay.
So when will they be able to see that, and where will they be able to get it?
Well, you'll be able to get it first right here at the Barbecue All-Stars. You will be getting this product in the next day or so. It's already shipped to you. You were the first one to get it. Of course, we all know I'm a Barbecue All-Stars ambassador and partner, and I enjoy the store, and I think you guys do so much for me. I wanted you to have this first, and then it'll be out in a couple, 3 weeks in different places, but you can get it at the Barbecue All-Stars. And I want to tell you about this seasoning. I did a lot of R&D myself. This has been over a year coming. You and I have been talking about this over a year, and there's been some complications getting it out. But actually, this one is so unique. When I try garlic butter seasonings, what I get is an artificial butter, that powdered butter. And then it's got a lot of MSG in it. It's really, some of it's really salty. A lot of it don't have a lot of flavor to it.
And you get that wacky wang on the back
It's
of
the
your palate.
wang.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. I call it the wang. And it's just the artificialness of it. So if you're looking for a garlic butter seasoning, first of all, look on the ingredients list. If it has artificial butter powder, use at your own risk. I mean, but what mine has, it has real butter buds. I wanted to make sure of that. And Melissa, it's a deep, rich flavor. Then it's got a lot of the herbs that we talked about earlier. That's something, I'll just be honest with you. I put out a garlic butter earlier on in my career, and we had 3 people involved in it, and it went pretty well. I just never was satisfied with it because I felt like I had some salt. I felt like I had a little garlic on the back end, but there just wasn't anything in the middle.
Yep.
When we talk about those herbs and spices, that's what sticks in the middle when you're building a seasoning. So this one's got a lot in the middle. It's not overdone, but it's to me, it's just right. And I can't wait for you to try this, and I think you'll sell a lot of it. But it's not under the All Queued Up brand. It's under John Lindsey's Southern Spice.
Well, fantastic.
Yes, ma'am. I've created a new line. I've got 10 rubs and a sauce and a brine in my All Queued Up line. And I don't know if I'm putting any more out with that or not. I may develop some more, but I have food trailers and we do a lot of Cajun cooking and all this. That's our Southern Spice brand, and that's the brand that's our food trailer and our catering business, Southern Spice. And so this was the first product, and it's the flagship product for that. And it's something we use all the time, and so we bottled it, and it's really turning out great.
Yeah.
We love it.
Well, I am so proud and happy for you.
Thank you.
Because this took a long time to get it right, but it's so important to get it right. I'm 100% on your side with that. And I can't believe that we're going to be the first.
You're the first
to get it.
Yeah, well, believe it. Let me tell you.
I got spotters on the roof, John, waiting on it to come in.
It's coming. It's coming in. But you ever heard of the old story? My grandpa used to say, "Dance with the one that brought you."
Yes.
Well, if I'm anything, I'm pretty loyal. And you and Pete and your family's been so good to me, and I love the Barbecue All-Stars. And so you're getting it. It'll be here in the next couple of days, and people can begin to order it. I'm sure you'll have it on the website to ship it, and they can come right here and get it. I already saw over there a while ago you got a spot for it.
Yeah.
But I want to say one more thing about this seasoning. I use garlic butter for a lot of things. It's great on poultry. And by the way,
Can I just say, what is garlic butter not good on?
that's exactly right. So, I was in the steak world a long time. The last year I cooked steaks, I cooked almost 80 contests that year. That's a lot of cooking.
That's insane.
And yeah, it's almost embarrassing we cooked so many of them, to be quite honest with you, but we loved it. And so I cooked 2 steaks the other night, and especially in our R&D with this. When I finally got this down, I cooked 2 steaks. I had my regular award-winning recipe, the one I won all over the country with. Here, I took the same recipe, but I added a thin coat of the garlic butter when I started and let it sweat in, and then put my other seasonings on. And then when I pulled it off the cooker, I just did a little finishing dust on it. I let those set 5 minutes, and I tried both of them. And I can't pinpoint, and this is how I know it's a good seasoning. Now, you correct me, but this is how I knew I had something. When I tasted the steak with the garlic butter, I couldn't put a finger on and say, "Hey, that's garlic, that's butter." All I could tell was it was better.
Yeah.
It was rich, that's the way I describe it. It's a richness that it adds. And so I'm real excited about it, and thank you for carrying it.
Oh, always.
We're excited to have it here.
We love to have good products.
Well,
One thing that I want to say is you hit on something that I kind of want to elaborate on just a little bit.
yes, ma'am.
What some folks might not realize is that seasoning on the back end is just as important as seasoning on the front end.
It is.
When you cook with seasonings, especially if you're cooking for a long period of times, or at high heat, they lose some of their properties. So that was always, and don't tell anybody this, but that was always a trick that we pulled in the competitive world to get an edge above everybody else.
Yeah.
We just pop it with that seasoning at the very end before we served it.
Yeah.
After it had rested, before we served it. And you don't have to put a lot.
No.
But it'll bring out all those other flavors that you started with, and a whole hog case was 24 hours ago.
That's right.
And it'll just bring that pop of flavor to the surface. So that's a tip or trick, I guess, that I'd just like to point out that you skimmed over there a little bit, but I want to tell our viewers it's really important. If you taste and you feel like, okay, well, this is not as flavorful as I wanted it to be, just take your original seasoning and give it a light dusting.
Right. And if you, especially with barbecue, so you're putting the color on. Right up front, you're going to put your smoke, you're going to put your color to it, your rubs are getting right, everything's getting done, you're getting your bark. But then, if you're cooking for competition or at home, whatever, you're probably going to wrap it and put it in a foil wrap or in a pan and add a liquid to it. Well, when you do that, you're braising it, but you're also steaming a little bit. And when you do that, you just can't help but lose a little bit of bark and a little bit of flavor. So when you come back, you can build the bark back a little bit by putting it on the grill, but you still got to add that little extra flavor that you've lost in that process. And that's what you're talking about. I call it a finishing dust.
I've called it everything under the sun.
Yeah, I had, at one time, I would have like a cutting board like this piece of paper. And when I finished a steak, I would already have seasoning on the board. I'd lay the steak flat down, and then I would doctor my top with a little thumb grinder where I knew the judges were going to buy it. Yeah. With a proprietary blend, you know, in a secret blend that we would get on there that we thought gave us an edge. But I like to season my food before it rests and let it rest in it.
Yeah, I think that I think we all have judges.
We do.
Not just those that are still in competition, because I'm not anymore, thank goodness. But at the restaurant, my customers are my judges.
Yes.
At home, my mama is my judge.
Right.
You know, I think that if you're just cooking for your significant other, Pete would be my judge. So, you know, I want it to be good. Or otherwise, why not just order takeout? You know, if you don't want to impress somebody, even if it's just yourself.
And that's the thing about me, and I know, knowing you, I know the same thing. We're harder on ourselves than anybody else will be. And I know when I take the first bite if it's right or not. And, you know, I've cooked some things that was okay, but then I've cooked some things that I thought, that's over the top. And I hated to say that to myself because I didn't want to brag on myself too much. But when it's right, it's right. And you know it. And you don't have to really have anybody to tell you that. But I'm pretty hard on myself on my cooking, aren't you?
I'm pretty hard on myself about everything, not just my cooking, about everything. Those of you who sent in questions that weren't necessarily so kind, thank you so much, but we're not going to answer those. But yeah, I'm pretty hard on myself. Nobody else has to be.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because we want to do a good job.
We want to do a good job.
We want to do a good job.
And of course, we both love people, and we want to give back. And
we love some people, John.
Yeah, well, I understand. And some people are hard to love, you know.
I agree.
And I believe it's getting harder all the time, but I'm still trying.
Well, I think, you know, I think as I get older, I've changed. I know I've changed. The people that worked with me 25 years ago will tell you that I've mellowed a lot because I used to be hell on wheels. And I don't mean that. I mean hell on wheels.
Right.
Because I was a perfectionist. And if somebody was going to pay me to do a job, I wanted to do that job right.
Yes.
So I know I've mellowed, but I think that with, you know, I can remember hearing the old people say when I was a kid, and I say that term lightly, old people, because I am those old people now. But they would say, you know, I just don't know what's going to happen to this world.
Right.
I just don't know. This younger generation just is not, what our parents were.
That's right.
And I think we're going through that a little bit now. They call us Gen Xers, all kinds of names, but you got to realize, I mean, we were raised by wolves and drinking out of water hoses. I mean,
Sure.
what did you expect us to turn out like?
Uh-huh.
You stuck a piece of glass or a nail in your foot. It was, here's a Band-Aid, and if you don't quit crying, I'll give you something else to cry about.
That's right. Yeah.
But, I think that now, especially in today's world, and you know this as well as I do, with the social media,
Yes.
it has really become a free-for-all.
It has.
And to me, that's really sad, because I can remember watching my brother, and he's 4 years younger than I am.
Sure.
And this is what comes to mind, is you wouldn't say that to my face, because, back in the day, you probably would end up with some marking.
Yeah.
And my brother was a prime example of that. He was mean as a yard snake.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I feel like that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And if we could be more positive.
That's exactly right. And I've worked on that really, really hard. I'm a realist. Now, somebody says, you're a pessimist. No, I'm not. I'm just real. And I know everything's not going to be unicorns and rainbows all the time. And we all both know that.
Sure.
Most of us do. So there's no need to make like it's going to be. But get prepared for whatever you get prepared for in the world as we know it. But I'll give you a little, for instance. So, I've really had a good run this year with social media. Matter of fact, I've got a few videos me and you did that's got lots and lots of views. And I'm excited about it. I like doing social media posts. But it don't matter if you take this pen and draw a circle or draw an L or draw an M for Melissa. There'll be somebody on there tell you didn't do it correctly. And I found out a long time ago that there's more than one way to skin a cat. And so I try to be, number one, on social. When I do social media, I don't ever post anything controversial there. Because when you're there, it's not a cop-out. It's just, but I'm not there for that reason.
Nope.
I'm there to enjoy the experience, help somebody else, and just be a part of the community and group, and maybe build somebody up. But number two, I believe more than anything that the social media world, I think you still got some good people out there that are looking for good things and positive things and answers and questions, and I'm out there trying to help them find them on cooking or anything that I've got going on.
I agree.
I want to do that for sure.
And that's our whole reason for doing this.
That's our whole reason for doing this.
Just sitting and talking, I can learn something from you.
Sure.
I tell people all the time. I can remember a good friend of mine, Tuffy Stone. It was his first cooking class. And he said, do you think anybody will come? And I said, I'll be the first one to sign up.
Right.
And I don't know if I was or not. I had to have been, because I had the end, I knew he was going to post it. Had to be one of the first ones. So I got on a plane. I went to Virginia, and he said, I'm not taking your money. And I said, you absolutely are taking my money. And we argued back and forth a little bit. And I said, I guarantee you that I will learn something. I guarantee you, because I'm here to learn something.
Yeah.
And then I said, Tuffy, real friends pay.
They do. They do. And I've tried to keep that philosophy. And because what better thing can you do to support your friends than that?
Yep.
I'm not looking for a free ride. If I'm your friend, I'm not looking for a free ride. I want to support you, and I want you to know I'm behind you.
Right.
I think there's a lack of that today, but I think we need that, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Just like you, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it just goes to show that, try to build somebody up as opposed to always break somebody down. I think that's a lesson. That's a lesson that we could all benefit from, some of us more than others.
Sure.
But there's no, what is the point of saying something ugly or nasty? What is the point?
Not
I
a
don't
point.
understand the point. I
And-
know all the reasons why it shouldn't bother me.
Right.
I know them all,
I know, but it still
bothers me.
it does.
You know, people see you on TV and they think, oh, well, she is so mean. Well, I'm not mean. You know, I'm funny, damn it. I am funny. But they can portray you in any way that they want to. Am I honest? I'm absolutely honest because
sure.
I think that I try not to be mean about my honesty, but
Right.
if asked a question, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. That's what I was paid to do.
You know, the only reason I'm sitting here with you and the reason I've got to where I am in anything is because somewhere along the line, somebody told me the truth. And I appreciate it. It wasn't exactly what I always wanted to hear. Was it you? I mean,
No.
you know, but I'm glad they told me. I don't want somebody just rubber stamping something and say, oh, yeah, you know, I want an honest truth. And I've got some great friends that'll do that. You're one of them. And,
Well-
I like that.
In the South, we call that blowing smoke, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different than barbecue.
Yes, ma'am.
Different than barbecue. All right, let's talk about one thing that I want to get out there since we have so many people watching is, as you know, I was on QVC for November and December doing turkeys and dressing, green bean casserole, and pumpkin bread pudding. Well, let me just tell you, that has put the rest of our shipping into a gear that I didn't know that we had. I mean, this gear... You know, I saw something funny a couple of years ago, and it said, you know, if we want to handicap an entire generation, let's switch to cursive and stick shifts. Well, I didn't know that this was a 6-speed instead of a 4-speed.
Right.
But if you want to order anything from me, Memphis Barbecue Company, the Barbecue All Stars, as far as food goes, the Barbecue All Stars has a lot more. We've got the barbecue on there, which is ribs and pulled pork
Sure.
and wings, but the QVC was just those items. Then go ahead and place your order, and don't forget the extra sides, because when I have to pull an order out of thousands of orders to try to you know, get your extra side in there so you don't have to pay shipping for that thing you forgot.
Right.
Take care of it now. Don't
Yeah.
be the procrastinator of your family. Take care of it now. We also have pumpkin pie. Do you like pumpkin pie?
I do. I love it.
You know, I like pumpkin pie sometimes, but I have been on an apple kick.
Love apple pie. I do.
We've just been baking apples. Just baking apples. I did a pork crown roast a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, I needed some other things to put around it because I was doing it for somebody else. So I wanted to make it look pretty, you know, and presentable, and do some food styling. And I said, you know what? I'm going to bake some apples and just see what this looks like in there. Well, I don't know how it looked, but I ate every one of them.
Sure. It must
one
have
of 'em.
tasted pretty good.
It's not hard. A little brown sugar and butter goes a long way with baking some apples, honey.
So I make what you call an apple galette or an apple tart, where I slice them and I lay them around. And of course, you just said the magic words. With apples, you got brown sugar, you got butter, just a touch of cinnamon. I don't like allspice, so I'll leave it out. But just a touch of cinnamon and a good crust. I make my crust homemade, make them in a food processor. I cut cold butter into them. Make them still the way Grandma used to make them, except I use a little fancier food processor, and I think it does a great job. And man, I'm gonna tell you, a good flaky crust with some apples, butter, and then when I get them, right before I finish it, I'll put either some fig preserves or some apricot preserves over the top, just for that little extra. Man, it's good. I love it. And if you really want to get fancy, put you a few raisins on it. It turns out great.
So now we know if you want to make it
If you wanna
fancy,
make
add
it
raisins.
fancy, yeah.
I will tell you that I have been grilling fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess it's the diet that I've been on that has just made me crave fruit. But I really like peaches, apples, pineapples,
Oh, yeah.
figs, apricots. There are even now persimmons.
Yeah.
it doesn't really take much. I mean, you can half a fruit, put some turbinado sugar on it, put it on a hot, flat skillet or, grill anything. And it brings out the natural sugars. I don't know. For me right now, that's a comfort food.
I can literally eat. I don't know how much pineapple I could eat grilled on a grill. It's wonderful, and like you said, it brings out that natural sugar. I've got some sort of reaction to it. For if I can't eat a whole lot, I guess it's the acid, whatever.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you what I really, really love, and I've got a video out there on my Facebook page and my TikTok both, grilled peaches. And I always made those grilled peaches, and I put a mascarpone filling in the middle, and then I would drizzle them with that like butter and brown sugar melted down and just drizzle them out. I know it's not as healthy as eating the peach by itself, but it sure is good. And it brings out that natural sweetness of the fruit.
You know what I do with my peaches that I do similar to that? I put just a little dusting of cayenne on there.
Oh, yeah. I've not tried that, but I like that little hint of pepper on that.
Yeah. And people accuse me of not liking hot stuff because I got lit up one time by some Carolina Reapers in a show that I did.
Yeah.
I like spice. I love spicy food. I do not like 15 Carolina Reapers in one sauce. That's what, 4 ounces?
Yeah, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
But I do love spice.
I love spice. I just don't like crazy spice. Like, what is the point spice? Speaking of galettes, my daughter makes clafoutis and galettes. And I will tell you, she can make those things look so beautiful. You know, and it kind of reminded me the first time that we did that of, you remember those pineapple upside down cakes?
Oh, yeah.
This is a blast from the past show. It kind of reminds me of that because when it doesn't really look like much on the top, but when you flip that thing over and the figs or peaches, apples, whatever you're using to make this clafouti or galette, it's just so pretty.
It is.
It's so pretty. Great for Christmas.
Great for Christmas. Yeah, Christmas. We've got Thanksgiving behind now. We're looking to Christmas. Those things are wonderful. I think Christmas is a little more fruitier.
Yeah.
Holiday.
I'll agree with that.
I think I grew up where when we went to church, everybody got a gift because I was in a small church.
Sure.
So I always got a pair of socks, that's for sure. I think everybody in the place got a pair of socks. But you remember those little square fruit cakes?
Oh, yes.
Some of them taste like cardboard.
I think that same one's been passed around since 1972.
Yeah, I think so too. But we always got one.
Yep.
And I learned I didn't really like it, but the fruit in there, it's the candied fruit, I really enjoyed it. So I just automatically think about Christmas being a fruity time.
Yeah.
So it's time for the fruits and all the stuff, and I think it's pretty neat to have it. And I think people love it this time of year.
Yeah, my grandmother was the only person I knew that ever would eat the fruit cake.
Yeah.
Orange, cloves and oranges. We've started working with a lot of drinks, hot drinks like mulled wine. I think that anytime, don't be afraid to play with things. It may not work. So what?
Throw it out.
You had fun doing it.
Yeah, throw it out and do it and start over.
You may come up with something that, is fantastic that will be a memory for your kids and grandkids.
Right. Yeah.
So I just think that this is a special time of year. We are going to have the WFC at my house over Christmas dinner. I'm just throwing it. I'm throwing the gauntlet down. I really only get to eat the turkey and ham and dressing and green bean casserole and sweet potatoes, and I only get to eat that really at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
Well, this year, Pete said, I'd really be okay having something different for Christmas.
Okay.
I didn't say a word. I don't know how long it was since Thanksgiving because I couldn't tell you what today is. But I've been steaming about it. So I'm thinking we're gonna have a WFC match over Christmas dinner menu.
There you go. That'll work.
I don't know.
We basically in my household had the same thing for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We've never been real big turkey fans, but since we've been doing turkeys the way that we've kind of figured out how to do them here, and I think that started at the Barbecue All-Stars. We were in a class, and we were actually teaching a class on turkey, and I think it was me, you, and Pete all together doing one. I fixed my turkeys this year that way. It was injected. We made an injection with Bayou Bandit. We put your grilling shake, Bayou Bandit on the outside. Did a Cajun turkey. You've got a video on one of them, and I put 2 of those out, and man, they turned out really, really good. I enjoyed those, and that injection makes them. I make my own injection, so I'm using a little butter and a little olive oil. I make my own Creole butter, and I inject that turkey breast, and I cut the ribs off of it and sort of set flat. But Thanksgiving's turkey. Christmas is always some sort of prime rib or beef. Now this year, these beef prices are coming down a little bit, but I bet you there won't be as near as many rib roasts bought this year.
Well, someone in the industry has told me, and I'm going to get more info at a meeting I'm going to this week, that beef prices are not going to stabilize until 2027. Cows are not like pigs.
Right.
You can get a pig to, the pigs that we were cooking on the circuit that were 200, 250 pounds were 6 months old.
Yeah. They turn over a lot faster.
The beef take a lot longer to get to weight. And, I'm a beef girl.
Yeah.
A big old ribeye with some compound butter, a baked potato, there's nothing that's always been my go-to food. Not that I want it for Christmas.
Sure.
Not that I want it for Christmas.
Right.
Because I only get that meal twice a year.
Twice a year.
And if you cut out my Christmas, I'll only get it once, and I don't think that's fair.
There you go. I bet you get it for Christmas.
I may be the only one eating it, but I think it'll be okay. But I will say that's one of the only things that I eat leftover.
Oh, I did.
Just like it was prepared. Now I will take leftovers and make them into something else.
Sure.
Like brisket lasagna.
But I can eat on a pan of dressing for 3 or 4 days.
Oh.
I can just eat it over and over and over again.
What kind of cranberry sauce do you like?
The honest truth is, now I like it all, but it's what I grew up on. It's and I'll probably get a lot of flack on this one, but it's the jellied cranberry sauce.
Okay, well, you're going to be surprised when I tell you what mine is.
Okay.
It's the Ocean Spray jelly
cranberry sauce. Ocean Spray.
Not with the whole berries.
Not with the whole berries.
Just the freaking Jell-O-looking stuff with the ridges in it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's what we grew up on.
It's what we grew up on. Mama fixed it. That's what I like.
We'll take, we'll buy fresh cranberries and put orange and, we're zesting all kinds of stuff and make this beautiful fresh cranberry. And I just want the can of stuff.
And it's good. It's good.
Come on now.
But
with dressing, that's the best thing in the world.
But it's not like the Ocean Spray cranberry or the old jellied cranberry sauce.
I agree. All right. If you would like for us to answer any of your burning questions, please DM me if you don't want to comment under any of the videos that we've posted. I get it. I don't always want to be the one that feels like I'm asking the question that may or may not be a good question. All questions are good, but I get it. Just DM me. Lauren will go through those DMs and we'll try to answer those questions. We didn't get a chance to get around to questions today because we just got to talking about Christmas.
There you go.
Okay. I hope Santa is good to you. I hope he brings you everything you want. And it is filled with family, friends, and some awfully good food. Hopefully it's that turkey ham dressing,
there you go,
green bean casserole, sweet potatoes that I was talking about, because that is the correct thing to eat for Christmas. That's a joke. Nobody hate on me. Thank you for tuning in to Fanning the Flames podcast. John Lindsey is with me, and I'm Mrs. Nobody. Tune in next time.